investigation, solving mysteries in the night. Chasing shadows, finding answers, shining bright light. No one's left behind in the darkness, all alone. With a heart like a siren, she brings the lost ones home. Silent cries in the dark no longer have to be, for justice wheels keep turning, granny on the beat. Broken voices find their power, call out hope again. When these crime busters run, no victims left in vain. Bravery in her veins, truth she won't disguise. With a fire in her eyes, she's got nothing to deny. Credit fights for justice, never backs down from the call. For the voiceless and the missing, she'll stand tall.
Hello, everybody. How is everybody doing this fine evening? Sun is shining here. It's nice outside. Just checking in with you all. So let's start out with our spotlight on the missing. We have Jeremiah Davis. He has been missing since April 5th, 2025. Last seen in Nashville. 16 years old, 5 feet 7 inches, 155 pounds, brown hair, and brown eyes. If anyone knows anything about Jeremiah's disappearance, where he might be, please call the Nashville Police Department, 911 or 1-800-TBI-FINE. Our children are really important, guys. We need to bring them home. Hello, Ginger Girl. Hope you're doing good. Or you just took Ginger Girl for a walk, huh? Good day to do that. If it's nice in Canada, I don't know. Is it? Hello, Victoria. Good to see you. Welcome in. Anybody else that's out there in the bushes? I did want to quickly talk about something that we just briefly mentioned yesterday. I told you guys how Dylan Ehler's dad, I don't know how you say his last name, said that they found something near Grandma's place on the train side of the tracks, or train side of the property. And so he did put an update on his Facebook. Hello, Brenda Joe. Good to see you. So I did I just took a screenshot of it. But you can find this if you just search Jason on his on Facebook. Immediate release June 1st, 2025. New evidence found in Dylan Ehler case. Public urge to demand search. Truro, Nova Scotia on May 31st. Clothing visually matching what Dylan Ehler was last seen wearing when he disappeared in May 2020 were discovered approximately 161 meters from his grandmother's home on the train yard side of the property. The pants were located by Nick Old Drive and Jason Ehler and others during a search. Police were immediately contacted and retrieved the item. Despite acknowledging the discovery and collecting the pants, no comprehensive ground search has been initiated in the surrounding area. That's sad. And I just want to point out, guys, that I think somebody tried to correct me yesterday in our chat that it didn't say it was clothing. Well, I'm here to tell you it was clothing. Okay. These pants weren't found downstream. They were found inland on the opposite side of the brook, said an advocate close to the case. They were just 161 meters from the home and yet there has been no deployment of canine units, drones, or search and rescue resources. Why? Due to a no-contact order currently in place, Jason Ehler is legally prohibited from contacting police to request further search efforts. Despite being a huge part of the search happening and with PBMO being there, he is blocked from demanding the area be searched. That should never have stopped them. The police already have the clothing, they know the location, they have every tool at their disposal, and no action has been taken. So, guys, I want to encourage you, please go ahead and read the rest of this. Kind of sounds like Jason has maybe made the police angry. I don't know. I get it. He's just like Seth is angry, right? So, doesn't matter. These pants were found. They were told where they were found. They took them into custody. They should be searching that area, in my opinion. So I encourage you to go look him up on Facebook. Let me see. I can even give the so I'm going to go ahead and just put the link in chat for you guys. That way you have it. Because you guys know that I would never put something up that a print screen up that was not true and reliable. Let's see what everybody's saying here. So the bit cool there. Gotcha. Yeah, it's not extremely warm here, but the sun is shining and that's what's nice. So yes, I realize it's 5 years later. And I'm sure that's what the police are thinking, the same thing. But it doesn't matter. They found the pants that Dylan was wearing when he disappeared. That's something, guys. So, yeah, exactly. That is why police should not get locked into one theory. They need to keep an open mind. They really do. And that just segues right into what I wanted to talk about tonight, about being recklessly gullible. Okay. So many of you that have been in my chat for a while now know that I don't go real life. I don't purposely seek out families of victims. And the reason, and most of you know the reason for that. The reason that I don't is because I just think I think at that point it makes it too difficult to be objective, I guess is the word I want to say, right? To keep an open mind, to look at all avenues, because if you're getting close with one parent over another and they're disagreeing, it becomes an all-out war, doesn't it? We've seen it happen. And guys, the last thing I ever hoped for was for anything like that to happen in Jack and Lily's case, but unfortunately, we're starting to see it. And it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. Hello, K9. Good to see you. Good to see you. So I wanted to talk about, how can we not be gullible and believe everything that we're reading, that we're seeing online, and, and be critical thinkers, right? I'm going to present my screen. Right here. Okay. So What is being recklessly gullible? A gullible personality type refers to someone who is easily deceived, often trusting the words and advice of others without verification. This type of personality is common in today's society. Many are so eager to accept what they are told that they never question the intent behind it. Being gullible means that you believe something in the absence of evidence, or you consciously evaluate a person and question information integrity, yet reach the wrong conclusion because you lack sensitivity to untrustworthy claims. And anybody can be gullible. I have been gullible in my life, right? We all have been, I think. I don't think there's any one of us that hasn't been. But that's one of the reasons why I don't talk to parents, right? Um, right. It's important to stay focused on the kids. Listen to only Ellie updates and be patient and not projective. Exactly. Yeah. Sometimes we can be, our past experiences can make us only think in a certain way as well. And that causes us to be gullible. If we have a heart toward DV victims, for example, because we have been a DV victim ourselves, it may color how we're looking at the entire situation. So we have to be really careful, right? And you know, I'm just going to say this. We have talked about critical thinking, right? I guess I'll just show that as well. Critical thinking will help us to not be so gullible because it's the ability to interpret, evaluate, and analyze facts and information that are available to form a judgment or decide if something is right or wrong. More than just being curious about the world around you, critical thinkers make connections between logical ideas to see the bigger picture. Building your critical thinking skills means being able to advocate your ideas and opinions, present them in a logical fashion, and make decisions for improvement. So, I mean, if you're still out in the workforce, this can help you. But I'm looking at it from the perspective of missing children's investigations, right? Because that's what we do here, right? We try to think critically, we try to do the right thing, we try to analyze statements, right? Which is critical thinking and not being too gullible. And you know, so I'm just going to say it. I know that there was a lot of there was information being put out yesterday that allegedly was from Dan Martell. I'm just going to say this. Now Dan Martell does not want that information out there. Allegedly, I mean, so guys, in my opinion, if it was Dan Martell, then he shouldn't be talking to YouTubers, right? He should only be talking to national news media. We've talked about this before. Or the police, because things get twisted. Guys, there are people on these streets that twist everything and make mountains out of molehills. We know that, right? No matter what we say, no matter what we do, sometimes people just blow things apart. And that's kind of what happened. And here we go again, right? Here's some more drama. Now has hit Lillian Jack Sullivan's case. Makes me angry. I never wanted to see that happen in this case. Why did it happen? Because someone allegedly reached out to him. Now, we all know that sometimes the person you're reaching out to is not who you're reaching out to at all. I don't know if it was Dan or not. None of us do. The only one that really knows if it was Dan was Dan. So it doesn't matter though, because anything that was said yesterday, if it hasn't been said publicly on a news channel or to the police, how can we take it as fact? The behavior gone unchecked to reinforce gets way out of hand. Yeah. Yep, we've seen it over and over again, guys, and you'd think we'd learn. And so I wanted to talk about it tonight because I wanted you guys to understand why I won't reach out. I won't do it. I don't care about having the first scoop. Why? Because I have my family here who we like to think critically. We like to take a look at every avenue. We like to have a drama-free and a hate-free channel. And I don't need to be the first person to put something out. I don't need to talk to the parents because I just don't think, I'll be honest, I don't know that I could be biased if I got close to a parent in a situation like that. It would be very difficult, wouldn't it? Exactly. You know, people can say things in text, in the written word, a whole lot easier than they can when they're face to face with you, right? And not only that, but things that are written in word can be taken the wrong way, can be taken a totally different wrong way. Have you had that happen to you? Because I sure have. I've written something and then person took it a different way and I'm like, oh my gosh, no, that is not what I meant. Right? Just because the written word, people read between the lines and see things that aren't there sometimes, or you said it wrong, or, missed a couple of words and made it sound really bad, right? Yeah, if you're not looking in the person in the face. Yes, exactly. I got what you meant. I knew what you meant. But it's true, right? We cannot fall for that. We, um I was watching that last night because I was curious. The way the YouTube thumbnail was, I thought that Daniel was going to be up on screen because it said Daniel's going to talk to our channel. So I thought that's what it meant. So I jumped on it, right? And just like the sentence that I just said, right? Daniel's going to talk to our channel. I assumed, and I think many people did, that he was going to be on face to face. But no, what we got was screenshots. So just like I showed you a screenshot of what Jason Ehlers had to say about finding the pants at his near the grandma's house, right? Near her property, only a few meters away. I still gave you the link for it because I don't ever want you to think that I'm not going to back up what I'm telling you, right? That I'm making something up. you know, because that's just not me. I wouldn't do it. But I actually got the words recklessly gullible from Deception Detective. Um, all credit goes to him for that term. But I agreed with it. I thought about what he said, and I was like, it makes sense. And I think we can all learn from that. You know, if we're talking, if we spend the time and we're talking to a parent of a missing child, we're going to feel for that parent. We cannot help but feel for that parent. And we may become recklessly gullible and totally miss what we have been learning about statement analysis, guys. And we could totally miss. We could be so gullible that our critical thinking goes out the window and our emotions take over. We're so eager to accept what we're told that we're never going to question the intent behind the words. So that is really what I wanted to say about the whole mess last night. Now, I have been waiting for, and by the way, that video was taken down because evidently the person that, if it was Dan, said he has to go down. And of course, the creator is upset about that. But many people ran with it last night. And blew it all up, and I get that. I mean, some of the things that were said weren't good if they were from Daniel, but I'm not even going to go there because we cannot prove that. And so, until or unless he comes out and says something publicly, I'm just not going to entertain it. Sebastian's case has taught me a lot about watching words and behavior. People can say one thing and do another without blinking an eye. So true. So true. And it's also made me less trustful. Right? I'm just putting that out there. It has made me less trustful of others that I don't know and interact with on a daily basis. Because you don't know what's going to happen. Allegedly, a detective from the criminal investigation instructed Daniel to take it down, according to hearsay. Well, and that's all alleged. It's all hearsay. And I mean, for all we know, everything last night could have been hearsay. We don't know. Right? We don't know. My question is, and so actually, Mr. Yummy said the same thing. A story in 3 parts. I chatted with Dan Martell. Cool. Showed your browser. You ruined my hoax. He's just so blunt. I like it. But anyway, he was in that chat last night, and he said, when you show the messages with Daniel, please navigate to it on FB on stream. If you got a scoop, leave no doubt for skeptics like me. I agree with them, right? I agree with them. And we all know about the hoax card. You ruined my hoax. So I understand that there was something she wanted to show and something that Daniel didn't want seen. I get that. I don't know if she could have just held something over it as she was showing it, but that would have helped, right? But I agree with them. We don't know what happened. We don't know exactly what happened. I agree. Hello, Neural. Yes. Allegedly, threats were received by a woman involved in the investigation, according to the hearsay. So, which is never a good thing. And like I said, we do not we don't want that kind of thing happening, right? It should never happen. Missing children's cases is not about drama. And that's exactly what happens when creators get involved with parents. Every single time, guys. If you cannot remain professional, it's going to come back to bite you. It just does. Every single time. It's not worth it. It is not worth it. Should anybody be threatened ever in a missing persons case? No. Look what happened in Sebastian's case. And it keeps happening over and over again. Why? We saw what opened the door to it. We saw what opened the door. A simple YouTube thumbnail that said Dan Martell speaks to our channel. That opened the door to chaos. It just did. So I'm just thankful that I have taken that stand of never going there, and that we can continue to look at things objectively with critical thinking instead of being gullible, maybe being close to one or another of the parents, because it doesn't help. You have to remain objective. You cannot be friends and stay objective. It's not possible. So we're not going to talk about other channels, Kent. It's not going to happen. We're not here to come down on anyone. We're here to say that being gullible can happen to any of us. all of us need to be critical thinkers and to remain objective as much as we can. Yes, Seth has been endlessly attacked every time he speaks to the media or a YouTube creator. Yep, and people take it and they run with it. It's what happens every single time. Every single time. I'm honestly glad it was shut down, because if it was Dan Martell, then I'm glad that he allegedly shut it down. Hopefully it won't go any further. Exactly, Neural, especially when someone is vulnerable at the time. Because let's just take a look at this from an objective eye. You've got Malaya, who has left Dan. Okay. She, for all intents and purposes, as far as the public eye can see, has removed him from her social media and put herself as single in her relationship status on Facebook, right? And she's not talking, and she's got a lawyer. Okay. You've got Dan, who, oh, and I don't want to, and she's missing 2 precious children, right? Okay. And then you have Dan, who lost basically his entire family. He lost Malaya, he lost his daughter Meadow, and he lost Lily and Jack. Now, whether it doesn't matter who's responsible, both of these parents are vulnerable. Um, so we want to make sure that we are staying objective always. We can have opinions, we can, based on statements, right? We can make those opinions absolutely all day long. But we need to remember that putting those individuals in a position where they're going to be vulnerable is not helping anybody. It doesn't help anybody. So, yes, YouTube channels are supposed to control their chat. People are responsible for what they say, but I look at my chat and all the people in it as my family, and I don't ever want anyone to be held responsible for anything that they might say in here. I won't allow it. That's all and that is why we don't talk about other channels in here unless we're talking about something specific, right? Like a video that we're watching, that kind of thing. But yeah. So I've been watching. I know that they are searching more today. We probably will hear at some point here. I would think that if they found something, we would have heard something already. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not used to seeing how RCMP works. Ginger, what do you think? If they did find something yesterday or today, would they tell us? I'm just curious because I'd like to know. Or maybe you don't know. um, oh, they don't even tell the searchers what to look for. Gotcha. We need to be patient. I would say it depends on what they find. Yeah. Well, and if they found bodies, somebody would be reporting it because there'd be enough chatter on scanners and things that a neighbor would be reporting it and news would show up there and something like that. It is RCMP. I am confused with their actions. It's not an abduction, but they say they want footage from dash cams from the 28th. I don't think so. I don't know that they're looking for strange vehicles I mean, that might be part of it, but I think they're looking for the activity of the family in and out of the house, where the kid's with, where the kid's not with. But, did the kids make it home on the first? See what I'm saying? I think that's what they're looking for. Or were they looking for some kind of a planned thing? Like, I mean, we all speculated as to whether there was a rehearsal kind of done for the 3 a.m. car and flashlights in Sebastian Rogers' case. So, was there kind of a rehearsal done, that kind of thing? That's what I'm thinking. I agree. I think they're following a theory, building a case. Yeah. At first when you hear the 28th, you're wondering, I don't know, why are they going back that far? And then I got to thinking, I thought back to Sebastian's case and how we thought that, that might have been a possibility, that there was a rehearsal that went on and different things, right? So I thought, no, they could just be looking for the activity around that home. But I mean, I think that I honestly believe we're going to have an answer. Charges or some kind of resolution for this case. I really do feel that. I don't know why. It's just kind of a gut instinct, I think. And I hope I'm right. Um, everything's on the table. I mean, we don't know where they went, right? Hello, Katie. Good to see you. Don't they have to have someone identify the body before they can say anything? Not all the time. And the reason that I say that is because in Gabby Petito's case, um, her tattoos, her clothing, they came out and they actually said, now I don't know how Canada does this, but I know, in Wyoming, they did this. They actually came out and said that they found remains of someone that they believed to be Gabriella Petito. Before any kind of autopsy was done, before Jim even went to identify her, they had that out there. They did take the wireless modem and the cell phones. Maybe those items opened the door to that line time frame. Yeah, that's very good possibility. Not following you, Neuro. Same with Justin. Even Ken knew his wristband was the same. I'm not following. Oh, I see what you're saying. Gotcha. The wristband was the same. Yeah, sometimes, that's all it takes is, a tattoo, identification, that kind of thing. And they can pretty much say, yeah. Sometimes you don't have that. Like these little kids, I'm sure, did not have tattoos. Justin McDonald from Nova Scotia, his body was found by dad. Oh, that's sad, Neuro. That's really sad. Yeah. These are children they're looking for, so they would be very careful with what they say if they do find something. Yeah. I mean, I think the only identifiers would be those boots, right? Because anybody could have a pink shirt and they don't know for sure what Jack was wearing. So, I mean, I think the only identifiers could possibly be those boots that they were wearing. And I don't know if they would do a potential identification publicly with just that, right? I'm not sure. I'm not sure at all, but I'd rather them know for sure than to tell us something wrong. Yeah, exactly. He was found. Unfortunately, that'll be something his dad will never forget, right? That I can't even imagine that. Um, but he can rest in peace. So, um, but what do we know for a fact? Well, we know that they were seen in the afternoon on the 1st. We don't really know anything about that scenario. We don't know if they made it home, right? So anything after, I think it was 3:15, they said on the 1st, could be up in the air unless you're going to take the words of the parents as gospel. But I don't think, you know, we found out the hard way in Sebastian's case that you can't do that, right? We've already got some red flags from both of the parents in this case that we're looking at and going, well, I don't know, right? Not that we're accusing anybody. It's just, you know, when you look at statement analysis, you go, oh, I don't know about that, right? So a whole community waiting for information. Yeah, I agree. Children are important. They deserve respect. And that's the way it should stay, you know. It's about these children. It's about finding them and bringing them home. This is just another case that has grabbed hold of our hearts, guys, without even meaning to. And, you know, I've looked at some of the pictures of Lily, well, both of them, but Lily in particular, there's a couple of them where her eyes were just so gorgeous. They were just shining. They were beautiful. Just so beautiful. What would be the very, very best scenario would be if someone had them, right? Someone had them and I don't know. That would be the very best scenario. One that we could hope for. It is. It's so sad. It's, you know, and I can't even imagine how Jason Ehler feels. After 5 years, they finally found the pants that his son was wearing. And what does that mean? Right? What does that mean? Are his bones right around there? I'm and why won't the police look? For sure. They don't. Yeah, they were the pants, Neural. I'll show you unlike, you know, what someone tried to tell me yesterday, Jason tells us today. Clothing visually matching what Dylan Ehler was last seen wearing when he disappeared in May 2020 were discovered approximately 161 meters away from his grandmother's home on the train yard side of the property. The pants were located by Nick Oldreeve and Jason Ehler and others during a search. Police were immediately contacted and retrieved the item. Despite acknowledging the discovery and collecting the pants, no comprehensive ground search has been initiated in the surrounding area. These pants weren't found downstream. They were found inland on the opposite side of the brook, said an advocate close to the case. They were just 161 meters from the home, and yet there has been no deployment of canine units, drones, or search and rescue resources. Why? Can you imagine how Jason feels? I mean, I can't even imagine. And he's saying he has a no contact order with police that's in place. He's not able to ask them to do anything. Sounds like he made them mad, which I hope Seth doesn't do. I laugh because I'd be pounding on their door too, right? I understand that they feel that Dylan drowned in the brook and that emptied into the Bay of Fundy and down. Something else that I was told today was, let's see if I can find it here. Okay. So the Bay of Fundy is less than an hour's drive from Gerlach Road, the highest tides in the world. High tides at the beginning of May were over 40 feet, sweeping out to the Atlantic Ocean twice a day, leaving less than 10 feet of water. No need to drive to Halifax for ocean access. So the Bay of Fundy, high tides, over 40 feet, sweeping out to the Atlantic Ocean twice a day, guys. That's incredible. And I know that that's what the RCMP thought about Dylan. Right, Katie? Exactly. It's awful. I know. I mean, honestly, if I were Jason, I would have been afraid to give him the pants. I maybe would have had him tested myself, but Jason would know what pants his child was wearing that day. Yeah. I think that's why there's no contact order against him. He's not been easygoing on that police force. I know I shouldn't laugh about that, but I don't blame him. Even Deception Detective, Mr. Yummy, as you guys call him, says that typically innocent parents will go hard on law enforcement because nothing is good enough until their child is found, right? How much worse for Jason? It's been 5 years. 5 years, and he just found Dylan's pants. That's awful. So, and when you hear about the high tides, 40 feet high at Bay of Fundy, twice a day in May, come on. And that's not out of the realm of possibility for Jack and Lily. I don't like to think it. I hope I'm totally off track with that, but we have to keep all of our avenues open. If you were going to plan to get rid of 2 children and you lived less than an hour away from where they could be swept into the ocean, what's the easiest way to make sure that there's no evidence? I don't know. He has pics of clothes on his website, and those pants look the same. Oh, yeah, I pray that too for him. I pray that his bones are right there somewhere. I mean, was the train running? Did he get hit by that train? I'm just saying, guys, there's more possibilities, right? I would be like Seth and Jason, bring on the no contact order. Yeah. Except it bites you in this case because now he can't demand that they go in and do anything. You know, here's something I got to say. And you guys know I back the blue, right? You know that. But I will say this. I'll go on record saying this. It's pretty sad that you get a no contact order on a missing parent. I'm just saying, that's pretty sad. That's awful. He probably can't afford one. I know he's out searching all the time. If I were him, I'd be over there digging where he found those pants. That's what I'd be doing. If the police aren't going to dig, well, then I would be. Well, it says the police will collect the clothing and assess its condition and location. They will examine the item for any signs of damage, wear, or other markings that could indicate who it belongs to or where it was last worn. If the clothing is found in an area where a missing person case is open, the police will likely contact SAR. SAR may be involved in a search and rescue operation to locate the missing person or to assess the area where the clothing was found for any other clues. If the clothing is found in a location that suggests it might be related to a crime, the police will conduct a more thorough investigation, potentially involving crime scene analysis and forensic examination. SAR may be called back in if the clothing is found in an area where a person is missing and presumed to be in distress or in danger. Well, at this point, I don't think he's presumed to be in distress or in danger anymore, but no, he hasn't. Um, Basically because I don't think they have any evidence, right? Has to have some kind of evidence that she did something, and they don't have any of that, right? Other than she took her eyes off Dylan. No, negligence, but so, but yeah, I mean, I can't imagine how he feels. And his hands are tied. So he's asking for people's help to call and to write. So I would encourage you, let's see, I can pull up the second part of it. We are requesting a full-scale ground search of the area where the pants were found. This includes scent and cadaver dogs, ground crews, aerial drones, and proper forensic analysis of the soil and surrounding terrain. The location must be treated seriously and secured immediately. There is no excuse not to act. The public is urged to contact the following agencies and demand an immediate ground search: Truro Police Service, police@truro.ca, RCMP Nova Scotia, Nova Scotia Department of Justice, Minister of Justice and Attorney General, Colchester Ground Search and Rescue, Ennis Ground Search and Rescue Association. The authorities have the evidence. Nowhere it was found. We are requesting an immediate search of the area where Dylan's possible clothing was discovered. It's a call for action. We are asking every citizen, journalist, advocate, and elected officials to speak up and demand accountability. Share this statement, forward it, post it, send emails, call, demand action. We are also asking members of the public to join Jason Ehler immediately in continuing the search of the area where the pants were found. If officials refuse to act, we will. Volunteers, advocates, and community members willing to walk, search, document, or assist in any way are encouraged to step forward now. Dylan deserves to be found. I agree with them. Well, nobody's searching right now. That's why he's saying he wants them to. I would think so, Ginger. And maybe that's why they're not there, because they're doing Lily and Jack today. I would be very surprised if they continue Lily and Jack tomorrow. They usually have just been working weekends if they work at all. So maybe they'll go for Dylan tomorrow. Maybe that's why. Because remember that they left another case to come over to Lily and Jack's. So So, I mean, I hope for his sake that they do it. And I did put the link in chat if you guys wanted to go to his Facebook page. If there was anything that you wanted to do, I'm not from Canada, so I don't know if anything I did would matter, but I know. That's a problem too. We're fatigued and could not continue to help with Lily and Jack's search. But I don't know, guys. I feel bad for him. I really do. I really do. And I hope that they do follow through. So my word for today's grannyism is about being gullible. We live in such a gullible world. Anything that is written, anything that is posted, anything pictured that is interpreted one way is taken as truth. It kind of goes along with everything we've been talking about tonight. We have to try to remain objective and not, so that we're not being gullible and missing, letting our emotions get in the way of, because that's basically what it is. letting if there's something that is written, you know, here's a really good example. When we have watched Seth cry, our emotions get affected, don't they? At that moment, I would probably believe anything that Seth said. Honestly, because, you know, he's pulling on my heartstrings, right? Even though we know that he's the one parent out of all this that we know is doing the right thing. He's being truthful and honest, he, that he's innocent. But that's a really good example of being gullible. In our little town, it takes 7 to 14 days for forensics to be completed. Gotcha. In some of the bigger cities, it's longer than that. But yeah, I don't know. That's true. He's got an alibi. All of his statement analysis has been proven to be true, right? So it's just a good example of how when our heartstrings are tugged on, we can go the other way, right? It's a sad time for Nova Scotia. 2 cases of children in the same month hit the headlines, a world watching, 2 lost and 1 possible found. I never heard of Ennis before this. Yeah. Yeah. It's very sad. It's very sad. And I hope that it doesn't keep happening and turn into another Nashville or Tennessee kind of thing. But, because Jason has even talked about Jack and Lily, right? And he feels badly for them. He's 5 years in. I don't even know what that would feel like. I've watched Seth being 1 year in, and that's bad enough. And now after 5 years, you find pants. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Nova Scotia was on my bucket list for a visit. Yeah, I mean, unless you want to go help search for Jack and Lily. They're not. They don't let the public search, so. And that could be one of the reasons why police are not happy with Jason, because he is doing his own searches, right? He's out there and he's asking for volunteers and help. And I do not blame him. He's a father who's never going to give up. Father who's never going to give up. So Keep these two precious babies in your heart and in your thoughts and prayers today, guys. You know, the thought that they're no longer with us breaks my heart. Hello, Linda. Good to see you. But yeah, keep these poor babies in your thoughts and prayers, guys. And pray that this drama stops right here, that it's nipped in the bud with us, because I don't want to see it become like what it did in Sebastian's case. There's no excuse for it. No excuse whatsoever. So, look at them. Think of Sebastian, who's gone. I don't have a picture of Dylan available right now, but yeah. Poor kids, right? They deserve better. They really do. They deserve better. All right, so that's all I had to talk about today, guys. I just wanted to address the noise that was going on and give you my thoughts on it, and to share what Jason found after all this time. So thank you so much for being here. Please hit the like button on your way out. And we will see you tomorrow. Have a great night. Thank you for watching another episode of Granny's Crime Busters. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe and like and even share the content. You can follow us on any of our other social media platforms at YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We really appreciate you guys, and you can also email us at granniescrimebusters@gmail.com. Thank you so much, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.